Hi guys, and welcome to our weekly chat here at Miss Shipley's Classroom Digital Learning Lab. I'm excited to share with you a new feature in Procreate that allows you to add text right in Procreate. So stay tuned. Hi guys, welcome back to Miss Shipley's Classroom Digital Learning Lab, where here every week I try to give you tips, tricks, and strategies for your teacher creative business to be able to utilize your iPad in the best and most powerful way possible, and this week is no different. I'm going to be sharing with you a new feature that just came out with the Procreate update, and I could not be more stoked about it. But if this is your first time here, I want you to leave a comment down below. I see several of you. This is a live broadcast, so I do see several of you commenting. Welcome Sabrina, welcome Janice, and let me know how much you love Procreate in the comments down below. And I just am so excited to share this with you. Now, to give you a little backstory, let me go ahead and move this over for just a minute. So to give you a little backstory, I found Procreate a few months ago and dove in because I've been utilizing my iPad, in my creative business for the last 4 years, and creating my own clip art was something that I really wanted to dive into because let's face it, and even just, images for, using for social media and things like that, because if you get them from websites that provide them for you, chances are somebody else is using them too. And I started running across that I was seeing the images I was using that I'd paid subscriptions to different services for. I was seeing those show up on other people's social media, and I was like, I don't want that. I want mine to be specific to me. So I dove into Procreate. I love Procreate, and there is a sister app called Graphic that goes with it. And really and truly, up until now, basically what I was having to do in order to add text or use my fonts or anything like that is I would have to create something in Graphic first, use the fonts, or even just the text. Maybe I created the image and drew the image out, or created the image in Procreate, but then I would have to jump over to Graphic. I would have to create a PNG using the text feature and be able to use my fonts, and then I would have to pull that in as a separate image into Procreate. Well, no more. You don't have to do that. Procreate has just released an update to their app that allows you to use text right there in Procreate. So I want to show you how. And I whipped up this little image. Let me go ahead and get rid of that bar down at the bottom so you can see the whole screen. I whipped up this little image that I think would look so precious on, say, a t-shirt or a teacher bag. And I whipped this up literally in the last 5 minutes right before class start, or right before this video started. And I want to show you how I did this because I was able to use fonts that I have on my iPad that I've installed. And if you don't know how to install fonts on your iPad, you can actually download an app called Any Font, and you will be able to install those font profiles on your iPad. But I do have a kind of, really exciting thing to share with you with regard to that. It is rumored that with iOS 13 that should be launching later this year, that's not going to even be necessary, because it is rumored that Apple is going to put something within their iOS that allows you to just install fonts on your iPad natively, so we won't have to go through an app, which I am super stoked about, and that is going to eliminate a struggle that I have when you install profiles on your iPad, and I want to share that with you really briefly. So let me kind of jump out of this for a moment. So why am I excited about that? Well, because when I just recently had to switch out my iPad for a new iPad through Apple Care, and there was a whole debacle on because I do the beta version of iOS, and I had to get it set up with the beta version. I had to wait, and then I had to wait a few days to be able to download the backup, so it was very stressful, and I finally got that situated. But one of the things I realized was that none of my font profiles were installed, and I don't guess I really ever paid attention to that, because I usually don't, even though when I do upgrade and get a new iPad, I do from a backup, but I don't guess I remembered having to reinstall those fonts. And let me tell you, I had hundreds of fonts installed on this iPad. So that was a little frustrating, and I'm going to have to go back and reinstall those. But with the new update coming in iOS 13, hopefully, fingers crossed, that means I won't have to do that. If I ever upgrade my iPad, I just simply back my iPad up to the cloud, and then when I set the new iPad up from a backup, it is going to be right there, and everything's going to be golden, and I won't have lost any of my fonts. I know that seems like a, crazy thing to just, complain about, I guess, but when you've got hundreds of fonts that you have to install, it can be tedious. But what it did make sure I did is I'm cleaning out the fonts that are on there because I don't need them all. I found that I wasn't using all of them. Yes, installing fonts takes forever. So, but I am excited about that update coming in iOS 13. That's a rumor. So, but I trust the sources, so I'm excited about that. So let's go back to the iPad, and I want to show you how I created this right here in Procreate. So I am going to get out of this, and we're going to start from scratch. And these colors might not work for you, but again, this you can, the possibilities are limitless. And I'm going to jump out of here. So let me go back to my gallery. And just to show you something else that I created, so this is what I was playing around with when I was looking to create a t-shirt, possibly for the course that I just launched, and I created that right here. I just found an image of a t-shirt mock-up so I could see what it looked like, but I was loving playing around. So you can see that the possibilities are limitless. So I'm going to go ahead and start a new canvas, and I'm just going to use this base canvas to work with because I can always resize it, and I have this set to where it is at 300 DPI, so I know I'm going to have a good quality image for printing if I wanted to have that printed. And so I just started with a base canvas, and the first thing I want to do is I want to go up here and I want to hit my little wrench, and I'm going to hit add text. You'll see right there that they've added a new function called add text. So I'm going to add text, and I'm just going to type in, first I'm going to start with the work of the heart. So I'm just going to type in work of, and I'm actually going to return the heart. Now I'm not going to worry about whether it's capitalized or anything because I know the font I'm going to use is going to do that automatically here in a moment. I'm going to go ahead and make my keyboard go away. I'm going to move this iPad in front of me. I've got it off to the side. This will be a little easier. And I'm going to drag these bars to just make this the size of my canvas. And I accidentally popped that up. That's okay. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tap on this, and I'm going to hit edit style. And we've got a thunderstorm coming through, so I apologize for the rumbling thunder. You notice it popped up this menu now that I have all these different options. And over here, I'm going to be able to choose a font for the text on my screen. I absolutely I about fell out of my chair when I saw this. And I only have managed to install 2 fonts right now. I'm still in the process of installing fonts. So I'm going to come down here, and I'm actually going to use this PB Been There Done That. And I'm going to change it to that. Now I want to change the size, so I'm going to bring the size up. And I love that it's just a slider. I do kind of wish they had given us the option of being able to insert a certain number, especially if we know what size we want it. But the slider bar is easy. And so I'm going to make that as big as I think it needs to be. And the next thing I want to do is, now the kerning is obviously going to be the space between your letters. And it'll snap back at 0 if you get there. The tracking can also change out your letters, the spacing too, but it also spaces out between your words. And then the leading is what's going to space out your different lines of text. So you can see I want to drag that to where there's a little bit of space between that. Now, you might be thinking, well, I can't see what's going on because the canvas is so big. I can always reduce the size of the canvas by just taking 2 fingers and pinching it down to where now when I tap on it, I can change the leading and I can actually see what I'm working with. All right, so now that I've done that, I'm going to go up here, and I did think that you had to actually go up here to your layers and add a new layer when adding text, but what happens is when I go up here to my wrench and hit add text, you'll notice if I go back over to my layers, it added a new layer for me. So, and we're going to kind of talk about what the difference, right now they're text, and you do have to change them to something else in order to work with them as a graphic. So I'm going to work with this now, and you see I have this box right here. Let's move it in the middle. and I'm going to tap in there. I can simply, over here to the left at the top of my menu, you see where I have the keyboard. I can bring my keyboard back up, and I'm going to type in teaching. All right, and I'm going to go to edit style, and I'm going to go to the PB Coffee Makes Me Smile, and now I'm going to change the sizing to where I want it, and I'm just going to drag that up kind of in the middle. I could make it a little bigger, and my dog is barking, and he gets a little scared with the storm. So I'm going to bring that up into the middle. Now I want to actually change the kerning a little bit on the work of art. So I'm going to go back to work of, and I'm going to tap on that, and I'm going to change the leading, not the kerning, the leading. So I'm going to move that down a little bit, and then I'll go back to teaching, and I'll move that back up here. All right, so they're the same color right now, and they're kind of blending in, but that's about to change. So what I'm going to do now is I want to work with just the layer that is work of heart. So I'm going to tap on, I'm going to go up here to my layers, and I'm going to go to that layer. And in order to treat it as a graphic to where I can fill and do things like that, I've got to raster size it. But before I do that, I want to show you one more function. So if I click on the work of art, one of the things I love right here in all these attributes, obviously I can change the alignment, I can underline, but I love this feature, this little O right here. If I tap on that, it makes it an outline, which once I raster size it, then I'll be able to actually fill in those lines with a different color. So I'm going to go back up here, and I'm going to tap on work of art, and I'm going to go to rasterize, not raster size. I never say that word correctly. Rasterize. So I'm going to tap on that, and now you'll see that the little image in the box has changed, and it's no longer text, it's actually an image. So now what I want to do is I actually want to make this have a pattern. Maybe I've got a patterned paper or a glitter paper that I want to do. So I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to add a new layer. And I'm going to come over to my wrench tool, and I'm going to insert file. Now I've already pulled up this folder, so I've got these glitter papers pulled up, and I'm going to use this aqua. So it's going to import it. It's going to cover the entire screen. But if I come back to my layers menu and I hit the layer, I can come down here and do a clipping mask, and you'll notice that it clipped out the glitter for that layer that said work of heart. So it created a clipping mask. Now if I want to keep it that way, and I know I'm not going to want to change it, I can go ahead and tap merge down, and now it's one layer just like that, and I can actually fill in those letters, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. So I am going to go ahead and bring this out. And if I wanted to work with this, if I didn't want to be able to see the teaching while I'm working, I can simply go to my layers, and I can tap on that little checkbox, and it'll take that away right now while I'm working on this. So I want to fill each one of these letters with a complementary color. So I've got this color up here, which is one of my brand colors, and I'm simply going to drag that color over and fill the letters. Because it is an image, I can fill in between those glitter lines with the color, which is, to me, the sky's the limit. And sometimes dragging all the way across the screen, I pick up my Apple Pencil. So I can drag that in and fill those in. Finish this out. Are y'all loving this feature? I absolutely love this. And then I'm going to... And now you'll see I have text that in a font that I installed on my iPad. I've made it outlined with a glitter, and I've filled each one of those with a complementary color. All right, so now I am going to go to my other layer that I had, which was the teaching. And this particular layer, let's say I want to change the color of this layer. So I'm going to tap on teaching, and I am, well, actually, what I think what I want to do is go up here to my palette, and I'm going to change this to a dark gray. And I would need to do that before I actually typed it. You need to have the color on what you want. Now you could fill it once you change it to an image, but if you, and I will probably do that right now. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this and go ahead and rasterize it. And now I'm going to drag this color over, and I'm going to, oh, I didn't, Was I on the, oh, yep, I am on the right one. So I'm going to drag it. I just released it at the wrong place. So drag it over and I'm going to fill that with a different color. All right. So you could do this one of two ways. If you want to just do a solid color, you could rasterize it, and then you can change the color by dragging the color as a, just like you would change and fill the color of any image. Or if you have that color chosen before you actually start typing, then you can have that color that way too. Now, on the outline, on this work of art, I have not found a way for you to change the width of the outline. I think that's going to be based on the font that you're using. And so I haven't found a way to change the width of that outline. So maybe that's something that we need to write into Procreate and let them know that's a feature we would like to have in this. So now that I have this teaching, I'm going to go up here and I want to actually, to the word teaching, I want to add kind of a grungy look. And I don't want it to be a solid color, and I want it to kind of have a grungy look and a pattern on it. So I'm going to go up here, I'm going to add a new layer, and I'm going to go ahead and make this layer a clipping mask for the layer underneath it. And here's why. So now I'm going to go up here and change to this pink. And I'm going to go to my brushes, and I've chosen this PD Dots brush 2. It is a part of a brush pack that, to be honest with you, I don't remember where I purchased it. I got off Amazon, or not Amazon, Etsy. And I'll have to try to find where I got that so I can link to it below. And once I've done that, it's in pink. Now, because I'm on this layer that is a clipping mask for the layer underneath it, anything I do on this layer is actually only going to show up on the parts of this layer. So you'll see as I drag my pencil, my Apple Pencil, across the screen, it doesn't matter where I color, it's only going to show up on the text. So I can drag this across and I can kind of color on the letters. I don't have to worry about coloring in the lines or anything like that. And I can kind of give it a grunge look. And who doesn't like to color? Can I just say that? I mean, as teachers, I don't know, just as a human being, I love to color. I have digital coloring books on my iPad too. I love to just sit and color. All right, so I've kind of given it a grunge look to where the gray is just kind of peeking out, and I love that. So now that I've got it completely like I want it, then I can go up here and I can merge that down, and now I just have 2 layers, and obviously I can save this as a PNG that could then be put onto some other project that I might be working on. So that is how you do text. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. I would love it if you would share that with me. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave those questions down below. I love to come back and read your questions and answer them. And remember, there are no dumb questions. So if this is your first time ever joining us here, make sure you also leave that down below. Let me know you're here, where you're tuning in from, and let me know, what your favorite thing about Procreate is. If you are a teacher creative and you want the opportunity to learn how to rock your iPad in your business, then be sure and check out iProCreator Academy. And we just started our first round of students, and enrollment is closed at the moment. However, it will be opening back up this summer, so you can grab a free video tutorial on how to unzip files on your iPad, and you can actually sign up for the wait list for the next launch. And guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure you hit that notification so you get notified when I go live or when I upload a new video. Guys, thank you so much for being awesome, and keep being educational rock stars, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.